Hey gamers, and welcome to another board meeting. Today I'm going to teach you the 2 to 5 player card drafting game Sushi Go. Sushi Go was designed by Phil Walker Harding and produced by GameRight. In this fast-paced card game, players will be snagging up different sushi dishes, trying to get the best combos to score the most points over a 3-round game. To set up, shuffle all the cards together and deal a number of cards to each player, depending on player count. 10 cards each for a 2-player game, 9 for 3 players, 8 for 4, and 7 for a 5-player game. I will have a 4-player game set up. Put the rest of the deck into the center of the game area. Do not show other players your hand, but I will have our hand face up in this game just to show you. To start a round, all players simultaneously choose one card from their hand and place it face down. Once all players have done so, everyone reveals their chosen card by flipping it over. These face-up cards will remain with you until the end of the round. Now pass all of the remaining cards from your hand to the left. Pick up the new smaller hand of cards that was passed to you. Continue to do this until all cards have been passed and put in front of players. Now each player will add up the scores from the cards that they have played this round. Before getting into how all of these cards score, there are 2 special cards let's talk about beforehand. First, there are chopstick cards. If ever a player already has chopstick card in front of them, they may use the chopsticks. To use them, call out Sushi Go, and now they may take 2 cards from their hand this turn instead of 1. Both those cards go in front of you. Your chopstick cards now go back into the hand of cards you are about to pass to your neighbor. The second card is Wasabi. If a player has Wasabi in front of them and they draft any Nigiri cards, that Nigiri must go on top of the Wasabi to signify the Nigiri was dipped into the Wasabi. Only one Nigiri card can go on top of a Wasabi. Now, let's get into how all of these cards will score. First, there are Maki rolls. Each player adds up all of the Maki roll icons on top of their cards. The player with the most icons will score 6 points. If there is a tie, split the 6 points among those players, and then no second place points are awarded. The player with the second most icons will score 3. If there's a tie, split those points between those players. Tempura cards are worth 5 points for every pair of 2 that you have, but 0 points if you only have 1. Sashimi cards are worth 10 points for every set of 3 that you have. Again, 0 points if you don't complete the set. The more dumpling cards that you have, the more points they are worth. 1 point for 1, 3 points for 2, 6 for 3, 10 for 4, and 15 for 5 or more. There are 3 different kinds of Nigiri cards: squid, salmon, and egg. Squid is worth 3 points, salmon is worth 2, and egg is worth 1. If any of your Nigiri cards are on top of a Wasabi card, that card is worth 3 times more. Wasabi by itself is worth nothing. Also, chopsticks are always worth nothing. Pudding cards are not counted yet until the end of the game. Let's do a practice scoring round for you. For this round, this player would score 6 points for the salmon nigiri on top of the wasabi, because 2 times 3 making 6. They would score 10 points for their set of sashimi. The pudding scores nothing for now, and let's say this player had the second most maki rolls with their 5 rolls, giving them 3 more points. So the player would score a total of 19 points for this round. After all players add up all of their points and write them down, the next round begins. Discard all cards in front of players except for the pudding cards. Deal each player another hand of cards equal to the amount from the previous round and begin drafting cards again. After the third round is scored, it is time for dessert, and pudding points are now calculated. The player with the most pudding gets 6 points. If there is a tie, those players split those points up evenly. The player with the fewest pudding now loses 6 points. Again, if there is a tie, split those points. Now whoever has the most total points, adding up all 3 rounds, plus pudding points, wins the game. If there is a tie, the player with the most pudding wins. And that is how you play Sushi Go.